We dedicate today's episode of Football Then and Now to the Jota brothers, Diego Jota and Andre Silva Jota, who sadly passed away earlier today. The footballing world has been rocked to its core, and we just felt it was right to pay homage to two gentlemen who were highly thought of within the footballing world. And just before I get my guest on, I just wanted to, pass our condolences on to the family of both gentlemen as well. Football Then and Now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined. Join us.
I can't hear you, mate.
My guest this evening is none other than the host of What You Call It podcast and huge Arsenal fan, George Buka, for episode 67 of Football Then and Now. How are you, sir? How are we?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad at all. I'm off tomorrow, but I'm buzzing to be on here, mate. We've been trying to make it happen for a while, and I'm finally on it. You've had one of my best friends on it before me twice, so it stings a little bit, Stu. Stings a little bit, but yeah, no, I'm in a good mood, mate. Hope you're doing well.
Perfect, man. Obviously, sad circumstances earlier today, and it's just it's take the football out of it. It's the families, isn't it, that are affected by this, and two brothers. Just horrific news this morning.
Honestly, mate, just I got to my desk at work, and then Daily Mail pops up, and then just Jesus Christ, just took a few seconds for it to digest. And the fact that George just got married last month, 3 kids, he's at the top of the world, just won the league with Liverpool, but it's just the fact that 2 lives, unfortunately, lost, and just it's awful. And the football world has come together at a time like this, and it's times like this kind of makes me feel proud to be not just football fan, but just for us to embrace each other.
100%. Yeah, it's just rocked the world to its core with that today. But we just pass on our regards to the family, of course. George, before we get on to the topic of Arsenal, your beloved Arsenal, I want you to talk about your show that you've been doing for several years. You've had people from entertainment, of course, predominantly wrestling. You've had film stars on What You Call It. You've had other sports stars, of course. And just tell the listeners and the viewers about your show and how good it's gone.
Yeah, mate. I started during the pandemic. I was quite bored. I did a virtual meet and greet, and next thing I know, it was a Tory Wilson for any wrestling fans out there. And one of my mates watching it, he's like, "Why don't you start up your own show?" And then I did. Had a few guests on. Okay, pick up a bit of momentum. 4 years later, I've charted across the world. I've had some of the biggest names in wrestling, past, present, and even the future. I've also interviewed actors, MMA people. Just footballers, John Sitton, just you name it. I like to sort of branch out a little bit, have a variety of everything, not just predominantly wrestling. As much as I love it, I like to mix up. And your support in the last few years has meant so much to me, mate. Honestly, I have to say that. And I'm not just saying it because we're, on the air at the moment, but we communicate so well and quite a lot, in Messenger.
Absolutely, mate. Fondness for you, of course. With a handful of other people that have been doing this similar thing to us as well.
Yeah.
There is great people within it, and yet testament to you, the amount of times you've charted, your passion for it, of course, as well. It really does shine through with the show and how you treat your guests.
It's been difficult. I'll be honest. There's been times where I've kind of had to take a break, but it's also been great for my mental health. I'll be honest, there's times I'm like, oh shit, it's awesome, I've got a podcast, and I can just switch off and I can focus on that, and then by the end of that podcast and I'm editing it and I'm uploading it, I've forgotten about why I was down that day.
Absolutely, yeah, and it just serves a purpose. It really does. I can relate. I've had similar times with it, and it does help to put you in a good mood and in a good frame of mind, of course. So yeah, brilliant. I'm going to start with the topic. I think we've got to go in with Mikel Arteta. This is the talking point. Is it one more season for him to try and get this title nailed down? Because he's come close in 2 of the last 3 seasons, of course.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Mikel Arteta for your beloved Arsenal and what you think has to happen this season.
Okay, Steve, so I'm going to tell you this. When I've told people prior to this interview, I've got sort of a mixed reception. Some people are on my side, some people think I'm sort of, being a bit harsh. But it is, for me personally, without any silverware next season, if we still finish second or below that, no trophies for me. He's got to go. And I appreciate everything's done for the club. He has turned us into legit title contenders. But with the money that we spent, over 700 million now, 3 consecutive seasons of finishing second, also our lack of progression in domestic cups. Unfortunately, the Champions League, okay, a little bit unlucky. That performance against Real Madrid, magic. And I think when it comes to interviews, I think 9 times out of 10, I believe him. I think with the confidence that he has. But I think last season, I think was a real sign that we have actually not progressed. I know we finished second, and I know the performance in Champions League, but I think a lot of fans. I know we had injuries, but we had January to kind of, okay, let's rebuild this team. I'm not saying let's bring in a new squad, but let's bring in a striker, let's bring in another midfielder, and we didn't do that. Another centre back, and I know we have spent the money. We had a bit of unluck with Havertz, Saka, Gabriel, Jesus. I mean, include him. You get what I mean, though. But still, we did nothing to improve that situation. And some of his substitutions, as well, at times been questionable, leaving players on too long, like Saka. Finally, I'm not saying I was bad. I was actually gutted to see him in. But like, you keep playing the boy, and he plays for England so much as well. It's going to catch up with him. And they all had similar injuries as well last season. So just to sort of answer the original question, I do think next season, unfortunately for me, if it doesn't improve, no silverware, it's the last season for me.
I'm going to ask it the striking conundrum. It's been made into a conundrum because it's been a talking point for God knows how long. Names getting floated around left and right. Benjamin Sesko, is one, of course, hotly tipped to come in. I think heavily tipped now to be the one who's going to come in. But then there's still Victor Gyökeres as well.
Mm-hmm.
That rumour's been circulating, hasn't
it? What's going on with that? Because his agent, they both seem to be a bit of a pain in the ass to deal with. From what I've read, a lot of it's football talk, obviously, paper talk and all that. But from what I have gathered, they are being a bit difficult. They want more money. There seems to be a bit of an attitude with him as well. I heard about it. He did it at Coventry. One of my mates, he's lifelong support of them. He said it's a bit difficult at the end. And then how he refusing to sort of play again for Sporting Lisbon. I mean, do I want to bring that into the Arsenal squad? We've had it before with players with bad attitudes, Ozil, Aubameyang, just to name a few.
100%. Yeah, it's got to be right, mate. It has to be the right fit, doesn't it? And you look through the years who you had up top, Bergkamp, Henry. You've had Ian Wright predating them as well. You always had top level strikers, didn't you? And he has the back. It could be argued Gabriel and Saliba, when fit, are the best
pair in the Premier League. Yep,
but so that's all fine, isn't it? But yet this striking issue, and as you alluded to earlier, Havertz. He's playing in a false nine.
I like Havertz, by the way.
Yeah, no, he's brilliant. He's brilliant.
He gets a lot of shit, and I think a lot of it's unnecessary. And I think a lot of people who don't actually watch him play for 90 minutes. He works so hard. He still wants to score. I know sometimes, lacks a real goal threat sometimes because he's not an actual striker. I do get that. But when you do watch him play, and he scored a lot of important goals, and we missed him so much last season.
It was a big, you could see the gulf, couldn't you, with him not being there, and being put in that position. He did amazing for you, but it will be interesting to see.
Fair play to Marino, by the way. He stepped up.
Absolutely, he played up top against us at Goodison, and several other games. That's not his natural position, of course, but he got goals. But again, it's this 25-30 goals a season striker, isn't it? That you're so you need. Absolutely.
No, we absolutely need it. Mate, at one point I was so desperate, I want to take Dominic Calvert-Lewin if I had to.
Really?
Callum Wilson, what are you up to, mate? Get him on a free. Jamie Vardy, he's just left. Let's take him. Just pays wages, and Red Bull. He's sorted.
Vardy being fit out of them three names is that would probably put him ahead, because Calvert-Lewin, oh my God, it just towards the end that he scored important goals. He kept us up against Palace and stuff like that. But who in an ideal world, who would you have just to close out on the number 9 issue? If you could have anybody, would it be Isak? Would I be right in thinking?
I have to say him. I do like the look of Sesko. I mean, up front, but it's just what he's done in the Premier League. some of the goals he scored, there are glimpses of Henry. And of course, I'm going to say that as an Arsenal fan, but just watching him play for Newcastle, you can tell he's special.
I wonder whether Liverpool could do it if Nunes goes, and they've spent a lot of money already, haven't they?
Liverpool do
This
it
is the
with
thing.
the signings they brought in already. That's it. I don't have much faith in us, if I'll be honest.
How about the links to Eze? How do you feel about that? I wanted to get your thoughts on that as well, because that's been doing the rounds as
Brilliant
well.
at Palace. One mate's like, oh, why do you want to leave Palace and get no silverware? Obviously just win the FA Cup. I think it'd be a great addition. We need that. No offense to Martinelli and Trossard, but Eze for me is just another level above them. I do think both work hard, but in terms of the actual bringing the goals in, being a real threat in attack, I think Eze just going forward is the right option if we can get him.
He's been fantastic. He really, really has, and played superbly under Philip Glasner there at Palace. But yeah, he'd be amazing for you. Year on year, improving, always improving. You also wanted to talk about Thomas Partey.
Yes.
Am I right in thinking he wants like a set amount?
Yeah.
Wages, that's been the sticking point. But does his age play a factor, him being 32? And what do you feel? Because you wanted to talk about Thomas Partey and what's been going on.
Again, I get like mixed reception from this one. I think I'm kind of on and off of him. I've never really fell in love with him as a player. Take away accusations, whatever they are, but I'm talking about the player. And I've just found him a bit frustrating to watch sometimes with the way that, reckless as well. I get he does the dirty work in the midfield, and he does allow Rice to sort of go more attacking. And I think them two play really well. But we did miss him in the first leg for the Madrid game, for example. And then when he did play in the second game, I thought he was awful. And some of the long shots he did as well, he used to fuck me off so much. Sorry for swearing. But yeah, I think if he wants more money and this is sort of his attitude, I think he should be kind of grateful, in my opinion. I think if he was to stay, I think he would get more playing time. But I know where's Zubimendi coming in, he's expected to be officially announced soon. And, Rice, obviously Rice is never going to lose his position, is he? Future captain, in my opinion. No offense, Odegaard, but Rice is the captain, in my opinion. But with Partey, I wouldn't be sad to see him go.
No.
I'll be honest. And I know a lot of fans won't like that, and I'm sorry, but if you want more money at your age, fuck off Barcelona.
Yeah, it's again, clubs are being careful. No matter if you are in the Champions League and you've got that revenue and stuff, after what's happened with finances and things like that, I think even Newcastle didn't really do much last year, did they? They were very, very quiet in the market. I think they will this year. They'll bring players in, but I think teams are worried about points deductions and things like that. I think that's in the back of their mind. Even the top 6 clubs. And
you look how Chelsea as well, how they've been sort of. I know they spent a lot of money, but how they've been doing it, like these 9-year contracts, like they do it in installments, and they got a way around it. I mean, I don't really like it, but if it works, it works. And City, who 115 charges, has spent 300 million in the last season or so. Just explain to me where the rules are specifically. Like, how can they spend as much when Newcastle, will get penalised if they overspend?
Absolutely. I couldn't get over the gall of Richard Masters turning up to Goodison Park for the last game at Southampton. He was getting heckled. That man wanted us down. I'm telling you, it's not about Everton this evening, but yeah, just Richard Masters wanted us down, and he was getting heckled going into the ground. It's like, why have you turned up? Why have you come? You are hated here. You were on a one-man crusade to put us down, but we still stayed up. Like the turd that didn't flush, we stayed up.
Boys, mate, I think we spoke about it privately. Like, what a man. What a man. I do remember when it got announced, so many fans shit on it. But it wasn't the long term. He's not going to be there for the next 5 years. He was just there, brought on to keep you up, and he did his job.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes, definitely. And also Kepa Arrizabalaga, who has been on loan at Bournemouth, of course, in the past season, done relatively well. Again, you wanted to talk about him, but David Raya has been absolutely fantastic. But again, I think his performances for Bournemouth, total contrast to how he was at Chelsea in goal.
Definitely. I thought it was like a different player. And I think where fans are kind of, oh, he's the big signing. Like, no, he's costing 5 million. He is there to be a backup to David Raya. That's pretty much his purpose. But if Raya gets injured, we have got Kepa, who was solid for Bournemouth last season. I thought he did a good job. Okay, fair enough. I have to accept the us buying Chelsea players jokes, and that's fair enough. I get that. We have had a few players over the years, Willian, uh, Sterling on loan, David Luiz, Havertz, who we've just mentioned, Peter Cech. There's been a few of them, Gallus, but it's more of a squad building a team. Just don't panic. He's not there to take over David Raya. Just please, and he's 5 million. They spent 70 million on him.
It
I'm not going
was
to complain.
crazy, and he was subbed off. And he was subbed off in that final with
Oh,
Sarri,
against
wasn't he?
Man
If I remember
City.
right, yeah.
Oh no,
So
no, no, he wouldn't come off, would he? He stayed on the
no,
pitch,
yeah. He lost his shit.
and they
Like
still lost.
that was the death knell for
Yeah,
Sarri. I felt that really just turned the whole thing, didn't it? That was crazy,
that
absolutely
was
crazy
funny.
at the time.
Yeah,
But he's turned it around. He's looked really good for Bournemouth. It's got to be said. And you need. You need your understudy, don't you? You need a decent one, but yeah, I'm sure we'll see him in cup games and
but
things
I
like
was
that,
going to
won't
say
we?
for the cup games,
Yeah,
obviously it allowed David to take a break because he played a lot of them as well, and then he can relax, and that's what a lot of these players have needed. A little bit of a break. And
definitely.
like Norgard coming in from it's not official yet, from Brentford. Again, squad player. Don't panic. Zubimendi is coming in as well. He will be announced.
Keith Andrews is going to have one hell of a job there if they lose any more, because they need to
Yeah.
scratch and claw to keep Visser now.
Mm.
Because if
Losing
Damsgaard
Frank, mate, bloody hell.
was to go as well, George,
Mm.
you know, Keith Andrews is in for a tough time, I think, at Brentford, because they're just chipping away, aren't they? And Brumo's still there at the moment, of course, but it looks
How
likely that
long?
it could be
That's it.
Spurs or United. But I worry for Brentford. I
It's a
know they'll
shame, really.
reinvest. Like, but them players have been superb for them. Them 4 players.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. I agree. I do want them to stay up, but I'd rather Everton go. I'm joking. I'm joking. Mate, you're never going down. That's the thing.
They tried, and they tried. Well, I did through the 90s, like panicking final
Yeah.
day. I managed to stay up, but yeah, where obviously we're saying about where they'll finish, and you want to win the league, of
Mm-hmm.
course, but realistically, where do you think you'll finish? Just looking at how Liverpool have strengthened, City
Top
have done
three
some great
first at the
business.
moment, just with Liverpool adding to the squad. But the thing is about Liverpool last season, I don't think they were particularly amazing. I'm not saying they didn't deserve the Premier League. Please, in the comments, don't have a go at me. Don't go too harsh on me. I'm not saying that. They deserve to win the league, 100%. But what I'm saying is, like Salah for the last few months, switched off completely. Like Nunes, like so, more useless than tits and a nun. But it's. I think if we can bring in those players, have an actual forward, a striker, then okay, we can beat out contenders again. But it's just if we do bring those players, then I'll let you know.
Who do you reckon could be dark horses? Is there anybody where you think, oh, they could be decent next season? Is anybody, just with the early business? I know we haven't had a great deal of
Yeah.
business. The window shut for a little bit, didn't it? Before the Club World Cup, of course. But
It
anybody
might surprise you, this one. United.
really? But if they do get in Brumo as well, or
Yeah. I think I think if they bring him in, I like Cunha. I think he's a good player. I know last season was a bit shocking for them, but it was his first season, and don't know why. Maybe second season. Okay, I've got out my system. I've learned the hard way with the football in England, and maybe I can turn this around. That's why I think they could be dark horses. Not saying it's definitely going to happen, but it's a wild guess. I think Newcastle might struggle, to be honest, if they don't add to the squad. They've signed very well over the years, but now they've got European football as well. Although they've got Callum Wilson staying, so they'll be fine. But
well, sick note like Darren Anderson, mate.
oh my god. My mate won't like that, by the way. I loved him.
He was good. He was a good player, mate. He was just
Yeah.
always out. He was always injured. Remember as a kid, Darren Anderson's injured. He's out. Oh, what a surprise! But again, was picked for the England squads all the time as well. Though he was always picked. He had caps for England as well. Back in the day. George, we've got a little bit of time here. I'm going to ask your favourite ever game you've been to with Arsenal. Ever?
Good question. I want to say 2012 League Cup. We beat Coventry 5-1. Giroud's first goal for us, even though he missed the penalty. Great experience. I actually ended up in hospital afterwards.
What happened? Please tell.
Um,
Oh,
no. So
did you
just
fall? Did you fall? Did you after a few too many?
kinda.
Oh,
Yeah.
my days.
Andy, if I send this to you and you watch it, you can reply in the comments what happened.
Oh no. But a good game other than that.
Yeah, mate,
And then
honestly,
end up in the
magic.
hospital.
You know, it's brilliant. It's one of those games I'm like, oh, will forever remember. It was just talking to you about it now. I think there's a video of me, Giroud missing the penalty. Like, I don't know what camera I had at the time. We're talking 15 years ago. It's so bad, and I was like, oh my God, Giroud. So I need to stop swearing, but that's what I said in the thing. But it was great. Honestly, it's one of those games I'm just going to take with me to the grave.
Amazing. About Highbury. What about Highbury?
I only went once, so I
Who
don't really, have a great memory of that, to be honest.
who was it against?
I can't remember. I was so young. I was so young, mate.
It's
I
all
want
good.
to say West Brom, if I remember.
Amazing. What a stadium that was. That was a
Yeah.
hard place to go. We had we've still got a terrible record against you guys, all in all, really, when you go through the results and that. But I remember Highbury was always tough. That was tough old place. And the Champions League nights there as well, George. Just like some iconic evenings there.
A lot of the obviously the opposition would hate going there, just because they felt like intimidation. They knew it was like a fortress going there, and I mean it's actually quite cool if you ever go to the Emirates and get an opportunity to walk around. You can still see parts of it. Don't get me wrong, it's building, it's where people live and stuff now. But you see like little bits of memories. Unlike Upton Park, which is nothing now. Not even like a little badge or anything. It's nothing. The Emirates, they've kept one of the entrances still. So it's pretty cool. But I think where Arsenal brings so much success, the audience was getting bigger, becoming global with its fan base. You had to expand. And you
Absolutely.
look at what Wenger did to the Emirates. You have to kind of applaud him. I know that's not going to be a very popular opinion. I get it, but you've just time goes on. I know you're moving grounds, and it's going to be awful for you. If I'll be honest, for a few years, you might not even get used to it. To be honest,
So many memories in Goodison, mate.
Yeah.
But it just became so hard to get tickets. The last 4 or 5 months, you just could not get tickets. Like I've got membership, and it was just you couldn't do it. And do you know what? The season ticket holders, they deserved the amount of money they've thrown into the club, going week in week out. For 30 odd years, even longer. Some of our longest serving season ticket holders. It was so hard. But obviously, that's why I went and did a tour. Back in May, we went and did a tour.
I think I saw the video you did. That's really good.
They'd stopped the tour, but now the tours are back up and running again now. Before the women, start playing there. So I'm just glad that they've managed to keep hold of it, and the women are going to play there.
Yes, I've actually discussed it with you. I never went to Goodison Park, so I mean, I walked past it, took some photos. But because I do ground hopping and stuff, at the moment I'm on just about over 40, but I want to tick it off. So I don't mind going away for a women's game. I'm actually a big advocate for women's football now, because you got me on social media. You see, I go to a lot of Arsenal women's game. I go with my
Absolutely.
missus, and I want to support them. And the fact that the Emirates for the Arsenal women, every game's going to be played the next season, and the women do bring in a great audience, good atmosphere, so friendly. I'm not saying the men's hostile. I think overall, in general, like the men and women's games, we have good atmosphere, very friendly. You don't really see any fights at all. We're not Chelsea. Like, sorry if there's Chelsea fans out there. I've been to Stamford Bridge a few times. I despise it. I just don't like it.
Even when they came to our place, I was walking out the ground years ago, Chelsea, and there was a police officer on horseback, and there was a police officer with a camera, and I don't know if it's an Everton fan or a Chelsea fan, sparked out in the middle of the road. I saw the punch get thrown. I couldn't hear.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear any accents because I was that far away from it.
Yeah.
Came past, the gentleman is just laid out on the floor. This is after the game, but it was on camera.
Yeah.
It was all on camera, but
Not
it go to the game and enjoy it. There's no need.
I don't get it. I've always hated. Don't get me wrong. Like it was part of the football culture. It was like the norm, wasn't it? Really, for a lot of lads in the 80s and maybe 90s to just go out get hammered, get in fights, whatever, go home to their families, or just yeah, I had a good afternoon, really good. What's for tea? It's normal.
Mhm.
It's, but this day and age, like
Mm.
the ultras, I think really ultras, or you
Mm.
go there looking for trouble.
Yeah, it's so daft. It's just so daft. And then you're going to end up with a banning order probably because of all the surveillance and all that
Hmm.
stuff. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. Just go and enjoy it.
There's such a
Um,
minority as well. Like I think 90% of the fan base thinks you're just irritating. You're a nuisance. We just want to watch the game and have a good time, maybe a few drinks. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But you're just there for trouble. You don't care who wins or loses. Actually, you probably want them to lose in some way, so you can take your anger out on that person.
Absolutely. With the ground hopping, just for the viewers and listeners, because you said
Yeah,
you've amassed 40 different stadiums doing it.
yeah.
Favorite stadium you visited? Oh, there might be a few.
Oh,
So I'm putting you on the spot there with the
I
40 you've
don't think
been
I
to.
can answer just one.
Go on, give us a few.
Okay, so Dortmund,
Brilliant.
um, Berlin,
I've
Hertha
been
Berlin.
I've been on a stadium tour in 2007 to the
That
Olympic
was
Stadium.
that was
Sorry.
phenomenal. That was against Bayern Munich. So my memory's not brilliant sometimes. Bayern Munich, they won 2-0. No, yeah. So they hadn't beaten them in like 15, 16, 17 games, whatever. First game, everyone ruled them off, wrote them off, whatever. And then they win. And obviously, like we had some German fans like just kissing us, saying thank you. Not like snog or anything, but like thank you for coming up and hugging us. Honestly, it was an epic night. Okay, so I said Dortmund, Hertha Berlin. Let's go. Let's lean towards England. Uh, I wasn't that impressed with the Ajax stadium. Didn't think that's all that. The Johan Cruyff arena. Could I say in England, I like St James's Park. I think it's wicked. Anfield's nice. Don't mind it. My opinions on Stamford Bridge. I don't like Wembley that much. I've been Wembley so many times, but it's the atmosphere. I don't know whether it's the size of it or how it's designed, but there's sometimes, even though there is noise, you just can't. It just doesn't circulate too well around stadium. You can sometimes just, whatever. Emirates obviously it's got to be up there. I absolutely love it. Highbury's too young, so I won't remember that at all. I remember like new Highbury, if you want to call it that. So I've seen the difference to that. There's still some underrated ones, but yeah, I know I'm sort of not really giving you a specific answer, but
It was good. A
yeah,
myriad of grounds.
yeah.
There.
Portman Road,
Plenty of
Portman
Germany.
Road's wicked.
Pullman Road. Oh, cool, man. Cool, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Proper grounds, mates.
yeah,
Definitely. Lewis Young. Hello, Lewis. All the way there in Falkirk, of course. Watches us every week, and he's watched Stu's Wrestling Podcast and Big Fight Weekly for years as well. Always supports us. All the best, mate. All the best. But before we go, just a plug for What You Call It, your
yeah,
show, of course, what you've got coming up, guests, and what's happening, and episodes that are already out as well for the
yeah.
listeners and viewers to go and find you.
Cool, mate. Cool. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. Just search "What do you call it?" !podcast, and you will see me there with the logo that's on the screen. Thank you, Stu. Good plug. Good plug. So at the moment, I've just released an episode with the Enforcer in Frost Wrestler from Essex. Not too far from me. Great chat. We actually don't just talk about wrestling. Talk about powerlifting, that sort of thing. And not that I'm into it, like I do it myself, but the guy looks like Eddie Hall. So if you're into that, it's a really good chat. And we switch off to about life as well. It's quite nice. Next week, we've got Tommy Tanner. I genuinely think, I'm not saying it because he's going to be a guest on, but I think there is a star in the making with this guy. You can find him, just Google him, can't miss him. He's pointing to this like Stone Island like badge he has. It's really good. So yeah, star in the making. And then I'll be taking a short break, and then I should have a few more guests. But you can find out who I've got lined up on my social media, which we've just plugged. What do you call it? Podcast.
How about wrestling commentary duties as well? Because I know you've been doing a bit of
Yes,
commentating. You've been
yes,
doing your
mate.
commentating before. We've got to get that in before we
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
George.
of course. Yeah, commentary. I'm actually doing it Sunday. DKW
There you
Academy.
go.
It's going to
Brilliant.
be in Leigh-on-Sea in Essex, so not far from Southend-on-Sea. DKW, a company where some wrestlers you might know, WWE, including Wade Barrett.
Wow.
Yeah, Nick Aldis, Elton Prince. They have all stepped foot in dropkicks. So it's a company that I've done commentary for last year. It's pretty good. I try not to go too cartoony with it, become like all JR, not a pervert like Jerry Lawler, but I try to be myself. Maybe be a bit over the top, but it's good. Quite balanced.
Mm.
I've enjoyed it. The first time I was a bit quiet for the first 2 matches. Like, power slam. Oh, headlock.
You were finding your feet.
Yeah, it takes a
Finding
while,
your feet, mate.
Because I remember seeing you doing like quite a few years ago, and I
Yeah.
think you kind of like that's a wicked image of you and Mike Angus, and I was just like, oh, that looks so cool. I was a bit jealous when I saw that, just because I've always wanted to commentate, and I was able to tick off that bucket list. Yeah.
I boxed it off myself, mate. Done, all done. Yeah, it was good. I'm with Mike, who I'm very close with, of course. So it was brilliant. It was brilliant. But George, thank you so much for coming on, mate. It's been amazing. It's been brilliant, and we'll have to get you on when the season gets up and going, of course. And hopefully
do some predictions. Be up for that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Arsenal fan and the host of the What Do You Call It podcast. It's Mr. George Buka, and he's been on for episode 67.
What do we think of Tottenham? I'm not gonna. I'm not going to finish that. I've sworn already enough too many times. But thank you, Steve, for having me on. Thank you, listeners out there, and I'll see you in the summer.
Cheers, guys. Football Then and Now, a fun look at football nostalgia and the modern game intertwined. Join us.